So, let's talk Nyx rework. Because, yeah, people who have been on my channel for a while know that I really like Nyx. And that I really didn't like the place she was in and how her place was completely taken over by Loki. And now with Revenant, it's a whole shit show. Nyx's job was really stolen. So they're going to change it. One is going to get, well, the target of her mind control is going to get a damage buff, which, well, it was already an augment for that. I really don't see it as something that will make Nyx suddenly great. Chaos will be her 2 instead of her 3. Okay, sure. I mean, as long as it stays Chaos, then I'm happy. And her 3 will be a new power, and they are thinking debuff. And Absorb will stay the same. Bloody awesome. Absorb is an awesome power. So, what idea would I have for the new power, for the new debuff? Well, part of it I actually took from something I saw on the forum. That enemy targeting, that enemy aggro gets redirected toward Nyx, and that she gets a bit of damage resistance. Now, to me this sounds kind of fine, but I mean, there's some great synergy you could do with Absorb with that, of course, because throw that out there, all the enemies target you then, and then you go into Absorb and absorb all that damage. But I think you can do slightly more with that, and well, I'm aiming towards something like that because DK, for instance, really seemed to like the idea of adding a slow to it, which sounds utterly terrible. Yeah, sorry DK, but Nyx. What's Nyx's entire thing? What makes Nyx Nyx? Turning the power of your enemy against them. Mind control. You have a strong unit, now I have a strong unit. Chaos. You have an army, now I have an army. Absorb. You do a lot of damage, now I do a lot of damage. That's also why her passive and her 2 were just so dumb. Just mind bolts. I send out some damaging bolts. What on earth does that have to do with the entire turning the strength of your enemy against them? Nothing. And disarm. You have a powerful gun, now I have a... oh no, wait. No, instead you don't have your powerful gun anymore. I mean, yes, sure, that can be useful, but it's not really in Nyx's theme now, is it? So instead what I was thinking was, when you activate your debuff, you basically give decoy priority, because things like Loki's decoy have an incredibly high aggro thing. Just enemies really want to shoot decoys. You give decoy priority to anything affected by Nyx's powers. So, for instance, when you have something mind controlled, well, that mind controlled unit has the priority of a decoy. That's pretty bloody useful. You have Chaos. Well, you now no longer have the worry of, yeah, they want to shoot each other, but they also want to shoot me. But now, they really, really, really want to shoot each other, and don't really care about you. And when you go into Absorb, well then you are affected by a Nyx power. So now they also really want to shoot your Absorb. That sounds like a pretty fun buff. Of course, it has one big problem, and that's that it doesn't really do anything on its own. You need something affected by her powers for that thing to work. Of course, I also had another idea that might be on top of that, or instead of that, I don't exactly know. I mean, maybe that could be her new passive. That anything affected by her powers gets way higher priority to the enemy. Because it would be a better passive. It would do something instead of the stupid passive she has now, which just depowers her own powers. But the other power I was thinking was, you have buffs, now I have buffs. So for instance, when an Eximus unit is coming around, you can use that power to basically debuff them and give their buff to you. So a Fire Eximus unit comes around, well, you take away his Eximusness, and instead you can do that huge fire ring to all enemies around you. A Frost unit comes nearby, okay, you take away his Eximusness, and instead you get the nice Frost globe around you. I mean, that would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? Just, oh no, dangerous Eximus units. Hooray, dangerous Eximus units. Now I can become very strong. Oh no, ancient healers. Now I become immune to status procs, or at least my buddies can become immune to status procs. I don't know exactly how it would work, but yeah, I'm just throwing some ideas out there. I think something like that would be really cool, just being able to steal the buff of the enemy, or just relocate the aggro to whatever is affected by Nyx's powers, is also just extremely nice. I mean, I wouldn't know what exactly it would do on its own, because I don't think that depowering the enemy is really something for Nyx. Because, well, depowering is not really what Nyx does, because as you'll probably see right now, where I'm doing the Razorback event, Nyx doesn't depower her enemies. She uses the power of her enemies for herself, because I'm probably fighting the Razorback right now, which is normally very annoying because you need to kill the bursters, then take control of the bursters, who will then attack the Razorback, so you can do damage to the Razorback. But with Nyx, this is stupidly easy, because, well, her 1 takes control of a burster, or at least her 1 can take control of a burster, and Chaos also just makes the bursters fight everything, including the Razorback. Nyx is bloody overpowered for this event. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking relocate aggro and maybe steal buffs. Something of that type. It's probably not perfect, but hopefully maybe it's something DE can think about that might be a good idea. And just please also reconsider her bloody passive, it literally works against her. Get rid of it, or at least allow me to toggle it off. I don't want it. Just if it's between having that passive and no passive, I'll take no passive every day of the week. And if you want another passive to replace it with, I don't know, something like a light version of quick thinking inherently. Just, you won't immediately die, you are the mind frame, so your power, your energy will get drained before you get killed. I don't know, something like that. Something that doesn't actively work against you, please. So yeah, those are my ideas for the Nyx rework. This has been Nyx, saying farewell.